Okay, dear students, today we are going to study about another type of transistor like BJT, which is field effective transistor and metal oxide semiconductor field effective transistor. These two belong to a same category where we already studied about BJT, which is a bipolar junction transistor. So here the transistors can be categorized according to their structure. Okay, so based on that, we classified the constructions into BJT and FET. FET is field effective transistor. Here, the BJT and FET both are made up of different types of semiconductor materials only. But the only constructional difference is in the construction of the emitter base collector in the BJT, whereas the source drain gate terminals in case of field effective transistors, and both transistors use P-type and N-type. So what is the application of these varieties of transistors? One is they're basically used in the design of oscillators, amplifiers, and then finally switch. So one of the important applications of BJT or FET or MOSFET are as an amplifier and as a switching device. Okay, so before going to the details of MOSFET or FET, we have to distinguish between the BJT, which we already studied with respect to field effective transistor. Okay. Now, the major difference between BJT and FET. The first one is, what is the type of device you are using? It is a bipolar device. BJT is a bipolar device. That is, the current conduction is due to both positive and negative charge carriers, that is holes as well as electrons. So that's why the conduction is due to both electrons and holes, because in case of NPN or PNP transistor, the electrons and holes both will take part. That is, both majority and minority charge carriers take part in electrical conduction. Whereas in case of JFET, it is known as a unipolar device. Unipolar means only one type of carriers. The current conduction is due to either holes or electrons. If the current conduction is due to only electrons, it is known as a N-channel FET. And if the current conduction is due to only holes, positive charge carriers, it is known as a P-channel FET. So, unipolar means the conduction is due to either holes or electrons. So that is a fundamental difference between BJT and FET. The next difference is about the noise. In case of BJT, the noise is very, very large because it has two junctions, emitter junction and collector junction. That is, each carrier should pass from, it should cross the emitter junction, after that the collector junction. That's why the noise is more in case of a BJT, whereas the noise is less in case of FET, because there is only a conducting path. There is no obstacle for the charge carriers to reach from the source to the destination. So that's why the noise is very less in case of field effective transistor, because there are no junctions. The third parameter is input impedance. In case of BJT, for better amplification, the input side, that is between emitter and base, must be forward biased. Therefore, the input resistance is very, very low, because the emitter base junction is forward biased. Okay, whereas in case of field effective transistor, the input must be reverse biased. Whenever there is a reverse bias condition, the impedance or the resistance is automatically very large. Therefore, the input impedance is very large because the input terminal gate is reverse biased. Here the input terminal is a base, whereas the input terminal is a gate. Next one is the output impedance of BJT, which is very, very high because the output impedance is high due to reverse biased collector junction, whereas the output is very low because output is forward bias. So whenever there is a forward bias condition, that particular resistance is very low. Next one is the controlling parameter. And one of the important parameters of BJT is a current control device, whereas the FET is a voltage control device. That means in both the transistors, the output current is controlled. Therefore, in case of BJT, the output current is controlled by input current. That is, for example, if you take a CE transistor, the output current is a collector current. So here the collector current is controlled by the base current. Therefore, it is a current control device. Whereas the FET is a voltage control device. In case of FET, the output current is a drain current. It is controlled by the gate to source voltage. So in both the cases, the output current is a parameter where the output current is controlled by voltage in case of field effect transistor. Whereas in case of BJT, the output current is a collector current which is controlled by base current. Therefore, it is a current control device. Next, from fabrication point of view, fabrication is not that much easy compared to FET. So fabrication of FET is easy compared to BJT construction. In case of BJT, the size, BJTs are relatively greater in size than FET. So this is another problem why we moved from BJT to FET is in the construction, the BJT looks bulky compared to the construction of FET. So therefore, FETs are smaller in sizes. Okay, so that's why high package density is possible in case of FET. That's why we moved to field effect transistor to consider the package density, to improve the package density. Another one is in performance levels, the degraded radiation since the reduction in the lifetimes of minority carriers. So this is another major point where the performance can be degraded while the charge carriers are moving. But the performance is very good in case of FET because there is no minority charge carrier flow, because in FET the majority charge carrier flow is only considered. That's why it is a unipolar device. Next one is the switching speeds which are very low compared to FET speeds. Next one is the temperature effects. So usually BJT has a negative temperature coefficient. Okay, the temperature effects are more dominant, which leads to thermal runaway, whereas FET has positive temperature coefficients which prevent FET from breakdown. So thermal runaway problem is a major disadvantage of BJT, whereas a thermal runaway problem does not exist in case of FET. What is the thermal runaway? Thermal runaway is nothing but the self-destruction of an unstabilized transistor due to temperature variation. So that is known as a thermal runaway. The thermal runaway problem is more dominant in case of BJT. So because of all these limitations, we moved to field effect transistor. The next important parameter is the gain bandwidth product. The gain bandwidth, that is usually if you prefer BJT for a certain amplification, we are expecting more gain with respect to the bandwidth. So if you take gain on y-axis and the frequency response, the frequency on x-axis, you can measure the gain and bandwidth, which is gain and bandwidth product, which is very large in case of BJT because CE shows, common emitter shows a very large voltage gain. Whereas in case of field effect transistor, the gain bandwidth product is of course very low. Then coming to the cost parameter, compared to BJT, FET, the BJT is cheaper and the moderately it is very costly in case of FET. Next one is applications point of view. BJTs are preferred for the current applications because BJT is a current control device. That's why it is a low current applications, whereas field effect transistor is preferred for low voltage applications. So BJTs are preferred for low current applications, whereas FETs are preferred for where there is a low voltage applications. So like that you can operate the field effect transistor based on the application. Next one is a power consumption or power dissipation. What is meant by power dissipation in case of BJT? The power dissipation, that is wastage of power in the form of heat. So this power dissipation is very high. We can also say this as power consumption. The power consumption is very high, whereas the power consumption is very low or almost nil in case of a field effect transistor. FET is preferred for low voltage applications, whereas the this BJT is preferred for low current applications, and this is very important. So the power consumption is very high, that will cause overheating of the component, and finally it will break down the component. So those type of problems will not occur in case of field effect transistor. So from this we can conclude that even though BJT is a bipolar junction transistor and it is a current control device, even though there are many applications, but we prefer FET because the constructional high package density is very large and thermal runaway does not exist, and power dissipation problem is very less in case of field effect transistor, and whereas the one of the most important one is low voltage application. So the minimum voltage required to operate any device is very low, so that you can operate any electronic device with or any digital device with very low voltage applications. So that's why we prefer FET. Okay, now after finding the differences between BJT and FET, we feel that the high package density is possible with the field effect transistor, the power dissipation is very less, and also the thermal runaway problem does not exist in FET. So we find that FET finds numerous applications where low voltage applications are possible. Now the FET is comparable with another type of field effect transistor, that is a MOSFET, because of certain limitations in case of field effect transistor. Okay. In case of field effect transistor, we know that the input resistance is very high and output resistance or impedance is very low, which is a fundamental application where field effect transistor can be used as a better impedance matching device as well as as a buffer. So these are the two major applications, but compared to FET, if you slightly change the construction of a field effect transistor, that input impedance can be still raised and the output resistance can be still reduced by a special construction that is known as a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Therefore, transistors can be categorized according to their structures. So that is BJT and FET. We completed the difference between BJT and FET. Now, let us move to the classification of junction field effect transistors. Okay, so the field effect transistors are mainly categorized into junction field effect transistor, and another classification is metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. And we know that the FET or MOSFET belong to unipolar devices. Unipolar means the current conduction is due to only one type of carriers, either holes or electrons. That's why the junction field effect transistor is of N channel or P channel type. So in case of field effect transistor, the operation can be represented as a depletion mode field effect transistor. That means as you know that the field effect transistor is a voltage control device. That is, the output current is controlled by input voltage. Okay, so here in case of depletion mode, the output current decreases when the input voltage is increased. Therefore, that type of operation is known as a depletion mode. Whereas the slight constructional difference we can see in another type of FET, that is known as a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor. Here, after slight modification, it can be operated into two modes. One is a depletion mode and another one is enhancement mode. That is, as a voltage control device, if the drain current decreases due to the change in the input voltage, then that is known as a depletion mode, which is already we are working with the FET. Whereas, if the output current increases with the changes in the voltage, that is known as enhancement mode. Enhancement means rise in the current. Therefore, the important application of a MOSFET here is as an amplifier or as a switch or can be used as an oscillator with both modes. You can reduce the drain current and you can increase the drain current also. So in all these cases, the common point is either FET or MOSFET are unipolar devices, that is either due to electrons or due to positive charge carriers. If you take enhancement mode also, either N channel or P channel FET, that is the conduction is either due to electrons which are magnetic carriers or due to holes which are positive charge carriers. So like that the classification of FETs can be observed. Then, so coming to the field effective transistor, because the basic fundamental difference between the BJT and FET is, even in FET also we can call this, already you know that field effective transistors are where the electric field to control the shape and hence the electrical conductivity of a channel of one type of charge carrier. So already we discussed this, that the field effective transistor is a unipolar device. Okay, so the important terminals here are source, gate, drain. These are similar to BJT terminals, like the source can be assumed as emitter terminal in case of BJT. The gate is termed as a base terminal and the drain is assumed as a collector terminal. So they have resembling same meaning and same kind of operation. Okay, the conductivity of FET depends on the diameter of the channel. Okay, so if you see the construction of field effective transistor, you can understand what is meant by a channel. So if you see the construction here, this is termed as a drain terminal, this is termed as a source, and suppose if it is an N-channel FET, P-type of material is diffused into the component, into the construction, so that this is assumed as a gate terminal which acts as a mediator between source and drain. See, as there are no proper junctions, the carriers will flow from source to drain easily. That's why noise is very less, as we studied the difference between BJT and FET. Okay, so the important terminals are source, gate and drain, which are equivalent to the source equivalent to emitter terminal, gate equivalent to base in case of BJT, and drain equivalent to the collector in case of BJT. Next, a small change in the gate voltage can cause a large variation in the current from the source to drain. So that's what, see, this is a FET construction. A small change in the gate voltage will cause a maximum change in the between source to drain. Similarly, and remember that always gate must be reverse biased. That's why we are saying that input resistance is very high and output resistance is very low. The reason is the input is gate is always reverse biased. This is minus and then plus, and output is forward biased. Whenever there is a forward biased condition, the output resistance is very low. So that's why from this property only we are saying that FET is a voltage control device. That is, a very small change in the gate voltage will cause the corresponding change in the drain current. That's why we call this as a voltage control device. Next, these transistors are commonly used for weak signal amplification. So here also the FET is responsible for amplification. Whenever there is a weak signal at the input, it will amplify at the output. Especially the FETs are useful to amplify digital signals. So very, very important. One is a digital signal amplification and also analog signal amplification. Okay, then the field effective transistor or simply FET, which uses the voltage that is applied to their input terminal called the gate. So just we have discussed. So if you see the construction again here, suppose if it is an N-channel FET, we will take N material, which is a heavily doped N-type material. Okay, both sides are considered as a source and another one as a drain, and oppositely charged material is diffused inside. Therefore, this is termed as gate. Always gate is a reverse bias with respect to source. Always the drain is forward bias with respect to source. Okay, then here to control the current flow through them, resulting in the output current being proportional to the input voltage. Okay, whatever current rises or falls depends upon the voltage applied at the input. Okay, here the total operation relies on electric field. Why it is known as a field effect transistor? See here, whatever changes in the gate will cause the accumulation of or the formation of depletion layer surrounding that. Okay, that will control the flow of carriers from source to drain. That's why this is known as a field effect transistor. So whenever the gate is more reverse biased, the internal channel. So what is the channel here? This middle portion is known as a channel. The channel is completely occupied by the depletion layer which is formed surrounding this gate material. Therefore, the internal width of the channel is controlled by the external voltage. That's why this is known as a field effect transistor. We will read it again. As their operation relies on an electric field. Electric field means the internal electric field is controlled by the external voltage. Okay, generated by the input gate voltage. This is then makes the field effect transistor a voltage controlled device or voltage operated device. That is, as the internal channel width is completely decided or operated by the external gate voltage, this is known as a field effect transistor. What is that field? The internal electric field is controlled by external voltage. That's why it is known as a field effect transistor. So, the modified version of the field effect transistor is known as a metal oxide semiconductor. It is also known as the IG FET. That IG means insulated gate. So, in the previous case, if you see the construction of a field effect transistor, this is a drain terminal, this is a source terminal, and this is considered as a gate. So, internally P material is directly diffused into that and connecting leads are taken. So, this is source drain and this is a gate terminal. Here, gate is directly diffused onto the source and drain. There is an N-type silicon bar. So, this is an N-type silicon bar. N-type silicon bar. Onto that N-type silicon bar, gate material is directly diffused. Therefore, certain applications cannot be meeting. That's why what we have done in the MOSFET construction is this gate is separated. Okay, so that's why we call this as a insulated gate. Gate is isolated or separated from the construction like the FET. So, in case of a field effect transistor, the gate is directly diffused on the source and drain terminals, whereas in case of a MOSFET, the second and most important family of FETs is IG FET or MOSFET. Okay, so what we have done here, the gate terminal is insulated or separated. That's why wonderful characteristics came into picture. That's why MOSFET became popular because of this exclusive constructional behavior. Okay, so why it is called as metal oxide means how the gate is separated. Here, the gate is separated. Suppose if it is a FET material, here we have used a silicon dioxide layer. After that, gate is deposited. Okay, so this is a drain. This is source. Okay, that is anyway it is present. So a silicon dioxide layer is introduced there to separate the gate metal. That's why this is known as usually a metal oxide semiconductor, that is which acts as an insulator, is constructed in the case of MOSFET. So MOSFET is a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor which offers many advantages. Particularly, you know that in case of FET, the input resistance is high, okay, the output resistance is low. That is the property of field effect transistor. Whereas in case of MOSFET, the high input impedance and the overall input, overall performance. So already in case of FET, input resistance is low. Further, the input resistance is increased. Further, the output resistance is increased decreased very low level. Therefore, the performance, overall performance is increased. So that is a main concept about what is meant by MOSFET or IGFET. Then why MOSFET is so important? Here, the MOSFET has very high input impedance. How this much of high input impedance is possible? That is possible only due to the silicon dioxide layer, which is a major point, plays a very important role in increasing the package density and in reducing the power dissipation and in cancelling the thermal runaway problem. So all this, the creation of high input impedance with the silicon dioxide layer arrangement leads to a very important parameter of MOSFET. Okay, here the MOSFET offer very high input resistance of about 10 power 10 to 10 power 15 ohms. A very high input impedance like 10 to the power of 10, this is some very maximum value to 10 power 15 ohms because of that SiO2 layer, silicon dioxide layer. Next, MOSFET is the core integrated circuit. So integrated circuits means you can make it as a integrated chip, integrated circuit, which is designed as thousands of can be fabricated. That's why we call this as a high package density. So the reason is because of its package density is because of its construction. Okay, so we can construct with a small size so that more number of MOSFETs can be designed. So every modern electronic system consists of VLSI technology. Okay, and without MOSFET, large signal integration is impossible. Large signal integration means more than 10,000 logic gates can be constructed. That is possible only with the MOSFET type of construction, where small size, compact size, high package density is possible. So that's why we give more importance to MOSFET than the field effect transistor. So the overall conclusion is as FET exhibits, MOSFET also a unipolar device. The current conduction is only either due to holes or due to holes, positive charge carriers or negative charge carriers. Or you can say that in case of field effect transistor or MOSFET, the current conduction is due to only majority charge carriers. That is one type of carriers only. The next important parameter in MOSFET is exhibiting high input impedance, which is created by silicon dioxide layer where we separated the gate. Okay. Next one is because of this high input resistance around 10 power 10 to 10 power 15, it may be used as a buffer amplifier also. Okay. Better impedance matching is also possible with the MOSFET, and then a high package density. Okay. Then another one is in all electronic devices using VLSI technology, MOSFETs plays a very important role. Then there are two types of MOSFETs. Already we have studied in the classification of MOSFETs. There are two types of MOSFETs. One is a depletion mode, depletion type of MOSFET, and another one is a enhancement type of MOSFET. Okay, that is what is meant by this depletion and enhancement mode. So here we can say that the drain current can be increased or decreased. So with the input, you know that FET or MOSFETs are voltage control devices. Therefore, if the input voltage is in such a way that if the output drain current decreases, that is a depletion mode. Suppose if the input voltage is in such a way that if the drain current increases, that is known as enhancement mode. That's a positive incremental drain current. So like that we can operate the depletion MOSFET is also known as D MOSFET, whereas the enhancement MOSFET is also known as E MOSFET. But in case of D MOSFET, it can operate in both depletion and enhancement modes. But enhancement type of MOSFET is possible only with enhancement mode. So we can call this E MOSFET only. But depletion MOSFET can be operated both in depletion as well as enhancement just by changing the supply to the gate terminal. Because once the gate is separated, isolated from source and drain, we can easily change the gate supply also. Okay. So now let us see the depletion type of MOSFET. Depletion MOSFET means usually we give negative voltage that is a reverse bias to the gate as similar to the operation of field effect transistor. So let us consider the depletion type of MOSFET. So as usual in case of FET, the important terminals are source, drain as well as gate. So here we can see how the gate is separated from source and drain construction. So for example here this construction is an N-channel, this is a N-channel depletion MOSFET. So if it is an N-channel MOSFET, the substrate must be a P-type substrate. Here if you observe that if the channel is N-channel, suppose if it is a P-channel FET, you have to take a N-type substrate. What is this substrate basically? It acts like a base. Okay, so to the total construction of MOSFET, it acts like a base. So first of all, we have to take, to make an N-channel MOSFET, you have to take a P-type substrate, and over that P-type substrate, we have to deposit all this is a silicon dioxide layer. See, this is a silicon dioxide layer is superimposed on this P-type substrate. So immediately what we have to do, some N-type material. N-type material is inserted or diffused into that P-type substrate. Or we can say that once if you take a P-type substrate, two N-type materials are diffused. After that, you can cover the total construction with the silicon dioxide layer. After inserting these source and drain materials, then the total area, total space is covered with a silicon dioxide layer, which is a perfect dielectric. Then the connecting leads are taken. So some connecting leads are taken to bring source as well as the drain connections. Okay, so now source and drain are connected to this type of material. And one more additional construction here is a diffused channel is directly again diffused into that. So before depositing this silicon dioxide layer, we have to insert source and drain regions inside, and after that one more extra N-type layer is also diffused, and over that the silicon dioxide layer is completely covered. Okay, so this is a construction of a MOSFET. Then over the silicon dioxide layer an aluminum coating is given here. This is a aluminum coating, metallization layer. The metal is nothing but aluminum coating is given. Therefore, the gate is totally separated from source and drain. Okay, that's why we call this as a metal oxide semiconductor. Metal is metal is aluminum. It's nothing but aluminum metal, and oxide is a silicon dioxide material, and these are semiconductors. That's why we call this construction as a metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, because the terminals are source, gate and then drain terminal. Now, as per the FET operation, always gate must be provided with reverse bias only. So now let us see, suppose if you give negative charge or reverse bias, what will happen? See here, the gate is provided with reverse bias. So how to give the connections? Gate is reverse biased. The connections are given like this, and you know that the drain to source are always forward biased. So here, whenever the gate is reverse biased, oppositely charged, the negative charge carriers will come near the metal to counterbalance. So this construction can be considered as a capacitor. That is, semiconductor N-type of material is a conducting material, and this is a conducting material. In between there is a depletion layer. The construction is considered as a capacitive construction. Therefore, whenever negative charge carriers are occupied here, oppositely charge carriers, positive charges should come here. That is, from the p-type substrate, the positive ions or positive charge carriers will accumulate here. The positive charges will accumulate here, and usually they will block this region between source to drain. So actually the carrier should move from source to drain, but it is depleted, or it is covered by positive ions. Therefore, as soon as the gate is more reverse biased, when VGS is made more negative, the drain current decreases. Why? Because the source and drain are blocked by the positive ion distribution, so that if you want to measure the drain current is less. The drain current is less because the gate, whenever it is showing more negative charge carriers, oppositely charged ions will occupy here. The travel from source to drain charge carrier movement will be blocked. Therefore, the drain current decreases. So, this type of operation is known as a depletion mode of operation. That is, whenever gate is more reverse biased, then automatically some capacitive action takes place, so that the carriers reaching from source to drain decreases, drain current decreases. You can explain the same operation with respect to the characteristics. See here, whenever initially when gate to source voltage is 0, that is, gate is not supplied with any particular reverse bias or forward bias or any voltage. No voltage is at the gate, so that the output is forward biased, already drain to source. The drain to source is already forward biased. Therefore, some current will flow. Therefore, the drain current is like this. When VGS is made more negative, so as per the construction, if you see the construction here, whenever gate is more reverse biased, the occupance of the carrier increases. Therefore, automatically the drain current decreases. See here, initially the current is around 9. Okay, so this is a drain current which is measured in milliamperes. So initially it is around 9. So it slowly decreases. So when VGS is -1, the drain current decreases. Here when VGS is -2, again the drain current decreases. So for a particular gate to source voltage, if the drain current decreases, this type of operation is known as a depletion mode. Suppose, let us see the diagram again. Suppose if the gate is provided with a positive supply. Okay, let us see the diagram again. Now let us see the depletion MOSFET can be operated in the enhancement mode. That is, here initially we said that the gate is supplied with a minus voltage that we already just now finished. Now if the gate is provided with a positive bias or forward bias, that is a plus and this is minus. Anyway, drain to source is always forward biased. See here, whenever the gate is made more positive, all the positive charge carriers will accumulate here. So to maintain the capacitive action, some negative charges should come across this depletion or diffused channel. Therefore, whenever you are increasing more gate to source voltage, more negative charge carriers will accumulate here and more positive charges will accumulate here. It's nothing but a capacitive action. Already there is an N-type diffused channel. Source and drain are already N-type material. So they will establish a channel between source to drain. So more number of charge carriers will move from source to drain because both are N-type materials, and the negative charge carriers will accumulate here so that they will establish a channel. So the carriers flow takes place from source to drain. Therefore, if you connect here any ammeter here, so here the drain current increases. The drain current increases. Therefore, this is the first case under depletion mode. So this is known as depletion mode. Under depletion mode, when VGS is made more negative, drain current decreases. Whereas in case of enhancement mode, what you are doing here? Here VGS is a positive, therefore drain current increases. Whenever VGS is made more positive, the drain current increases. See the characteristics here. So when VGS is made more positive, drain current increases, then it is around 12. After that, it is increased to 16 also. When VGS is 1.0 or 1 volt, the drain current increases. When VGS is 1.5, still the drain current increases. So whereas the drain current increases means the current is enhancing. Therefore, this type of operation is possible only with the depletion type of MOSFET. So therefore, these are the MOSFET characteristics for depletion MOSFET. So MOSFET drain characteristics. Drain characteristics means the drain voltage is taken on x-axis and drain current is taken on y-axis by keeping VGS constant. So this is known as drain characteristics. We can also call them as drain or output characteristics. So the drain characteristics are also known as drain or output characteristics because the drain and the drain current and drain voltage belong to output only. Next one is the transfer characteristics. Already drain characteristics are this one, exclusive drain characteristics. The next one is transfer characteristics. Transfer characteristics means the graph drawn between ID and VGS by keeping VDS constant. That means you are taking one parameter from input side, another parameter from output side. That is, the output parameter is IB, input is VGS. So you know that whenever in case of depletion mode, whenever gate is made more reverse biased, drain current decreases. VGS negative means this one only. VGS is negative means -1, -2, -3. When VGS is made more negative, the drain current, the saturated drain current decreases like this. So this is a transfer characteristic. Suppose if the same MOSFET is given with plus VGS, so that is +1, +2, +3 and so on for VGS, the drain current increases. So that type of operation is known as enhancement type of operation or enhancement mode, or when the drain current decreases, this is known as depletion mode of operation. So this type of characteristics are known as the transfer characteristics. Drain characteristics means only VDS on y-axis, ID on y-axis by keeping VGS constant. So this is about the depletion MOSFET characteristics, both depletion as well as enhancement. These are transfer characteristics. This is a very, very important difference between drain and transfer characteristics of depletion type of MOSFET. Next one is E-MOSFET. E-MOSFET means enhancement MOSFET, where we are using only enhancement type of operation, that is enhancement of drain current. Okay, here we can see the enhancement type of MOSFET. It is similar construction to the depletion MOSFET. The only difference is this channel. Between source and drain, we are not establishing any channel. In case of normal depletion MOSFET, there is a channel which is established already. There is a channel already established. So that's why in case of enhancement MOSFET, same type of construction. Here also the construction of E-MOSFET. Here also you have taken N-channel. N-channel E-MOSFET. N-channel means you have to take P-type substrate. So a big rectangular P-type substrate is taken here, and onto that P-type substrate, N-type materials are diffused. Then after that, it is covered with the total construction is covered with silicon dioxide layer completely. So which acts as a better dielectric layer or insulating medium. Then over that aluminum is deposited. So this is completely aluminum metallization layer, which is nothing but aluminum. Same construction as a depletion. The only difference is in between source and drain, we are not depositing any depletion or any channel. Diffused channel is not there. Okay, now again, this is only for enhancement type of operation only, so that you have to give positive supply. So between gate and source, we are giving a forward bias construction, and anyway, output is anyway it is a forward biased construction. Therefore, always drain to source is a forward biased. But here the specialty of this operation is to enhance the drain current. Therefore, the gate is a forward bias. How this is possible? The gate is separated from the construction. That's why we have a chance to separate to give any type of supply to the gate terminal. Then if the gate is forward biased, the positive charge carriers accumulate here completely. The metal is occupied with positive charge carriers, and you know that this construction is like a capacitor. Metal oxide which acts as a dielectric, and this is a P-type substrate. Whenever the positive charge carriers are occupied on the aluminum metal, then automatically oppositely charged ion should be created. Therefore, from the P-type substrate, N-type material, N-type charge carriers will induce here. Induced means the N-type charge carriers are directly deposited here to counterbalance this positive charge carrier, because the action of the capacitor is like that. In case of any capacitor, whenever a supply is given, positive charge carriers at one side, equal number of negative charge carriers will occupy. So the construction is also similar to the capacitor. Therefore, whenever the gate is made more positive, more negative charge carriers induced here, they form like a channel. They will establish a channel. Therefore, what is the channel is established? They will establish a channel between source and drain. As a channel is established on the spot due to the application of positive gate to source voltage, this is known as a induced channel. In case of a depletion MOSFET, we call that as a diffused channel, because we only diffused in the construction itself. Therefore, whenever the negative charge carriers are formed, gathered here, and establish a channel between source and drain, the drain current automatically raised. So that type of operation is known as enhancement MOSFET. The enhancement means this type of E MOSFET is used only to increase the drain current. Therefore, this is about the construction of enhancement MOSFET for N channel. Suppose if they ask you explain the operation of P channel MOSFET, what you have to take? Here you have to take N type substrate, then P type materials are diffused, and silicon dioxide coating is given, and connecting leads are taken for source and drain, and you have to change the supply. Here you are giving positive, instead of positive supply you have to give the negative supply, because this is a P channel FET. Okay, so like that you can explain the operation. Then the characteristics. So there are two types of characteristics for any type of FET or MOSFET. There are two types of characteristics. The first one is drain characteristics, and second one is transfer characteristics. Drain characteristics means drain voltage VDS is taken on x-axis, and drain current is taken on y-axis by keeping gate to source voltage positive, that is our constant. See here, in all these cases VGS is positive, +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, +6. That is, this is also known as E MOSFET or enhancement only MOSFET. We have to give only positive gate voltages. So similar, that's why here if you see the transfer characteristics. So these characteristics are known as transfer characteristics. That is one input parameter and one output parameter. The input is VGS, gate, always it is a positive in enhancement, and the output is a drain current. Keeping this is here in this VDS is kept constant. VDS is kept constant. So as soon as the gate to source voltage is increasing, drain current also increases. So that is a fundamental concept of enhancement only MOSFET. Next, coming to the symbolic representation. So if you want to represent the field effect transistor is like this. Gate, drain, source, gate. So this is known as N-channel FET. Always the arrowhead represents the direction of Hol's movement or conventional current direction, and if the arrowhead point outwards, this is known as P-channel FET, and this is known as N-channel FET. This diagram is N-channel FET. Therefore, the source and drain constructions appear to be same, because if you come to the construction of field effect transistor, the source and drain are connected to the same construction. So the source and drain can be interchangeable. So in case of labs also, the drain and source can be interchangeable, but gate must be selected properly. Okay, so that is the construction of FET. Therefore, gate is represented with an arrow. Arrowhead indicates the direction of Hol's movement. And you know that in case of a construction of a depletion type of MOSFET, the source drain are joined by a special diffused layer. That's why in case of a depletion MOSFET, they are joined together, the source and drain. This is a source terminal and this is a drain and this is a substrate. The source and drain are joined together by the depletion layer, and this is termed as a gate terminal. So in case of N-channel, the arrowhead point towards the substrate or towards the construction. So this is known as a N-channel type of depletion MOSFET. Whereas if it is a P-channel, the only difference is instead of arrow pointing towards the construction, it will point toward outside the construction. Therefore, again this is a source terminal, drain terminal, and this is a gate terminal, and this is known as a substrate. So the whole construction is known as a P-channel depletion MOSFET. Okay, now coming to the enhancement type of MOSFET here. In case of enhancement type of MOSFET, the source to drain are separated. Initially, there is no depletion or diffused layer like this, but in case of enhancement mode, there is a great separation. So this is a source separate, drain separate. Anyway, gate is isolated from the construction, and this is known as a substrate. So now this is known as the symbolic representation of enhancement MOSFET. Whereas in case of P-channel MOSFET, the arrowhead point outwards. This is a source, drain, gate, and this is a substrate. So in case of FET, already see here the gate is directly constructed on the source and drain. So this is a symbolic representation of normal N-channel FET. The arrowhead point inwards like this construction and like this construction. And in case of a FET P-channel, the P terminal, that is the arrow point outwards, as we have shown in P-channel arrowhead point. Thank you.